Hello. Okay. For the time being now, people, I'm just going to say this once. And besides, don't judge what's behind me. I don't give a fuck if you do or not anymore, okay? Because here's the thing, I don't give a fuck anymore. It's already been established that this country's fucked. We've done this to ourselves. We've made it possible for another 4 years of Donald John Trump. He's going to do exactly what he wants. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. And yet, people like me who see him as a problem are going to get screwed over. You know what? Just give this asshole what he wants. If he wants to take away Medicare and Social Security benefits and federal benefits, fine. He can have mine. It's not helping me at all anyway. Truth be told, if you all want to know the truth, I'd rather be deported to the Philippines and live as a Philippine citizen and not as a fucking slave. I'm sorry, a white slave in the United States. Because what he's gonna do, he's gonna have his fucking piece of shit border czar, who I would love more than just a punch in the fucking mouth. Actually, I want to punch Trump in the mouth, but that's a different fucking story. For years before he was president, I'm sorry, before he was dictator. So if the FBI tries to arrest me for that, I have my own reasons why I hate Trump. Him doing what he's doing is just adding on to it. Uh, and then on top of that, wanting to go around and round up every person who's not a white Christian. Okay, first off, for all of you out there who are Hispanic, like from Central and South America, watch your backs. He's going to come for you. He is going to come for you, no matter what. Black people? Oh my gosh. He's got fucking plans for your asses. He doesn't care. He's gonna fuck you over so hard that lubrication is not gonna fucking work. People like me who are a white non-Christian, a heathen, a Wiccan pagan, plus I have my roommate who's a druid pagan, uh, we're fucked either way. He's going to make it worse for us. He's going to end up making it to where either we conform to what he wants or we pretty much lose everything. I'd rather live in the fucking Philippines instead of living in as a fucking white slave in the United States. Truth be told, I don't care how people think of me now when I say this, but Trump sees people who are white non-Christians no better. He thinks that we're no better than a black slave working in the fucking fields. While he's rounding up Hispanics that are here legally and illegally, he's going to round up people that he doesn't like. This is all what his fucking supporters want. And he'd rather have people that are wealthy in the United States, people who are Christian and wealthy in the United States. Here's the thing, I'd rather take the chance and take a hard fucking gamble and, get the fucking chance of fighting one of these wealthy ass fucks. For example, I rather I hate Christians, okay? That's the thing. Trump doesn't care about people like me, doesn't care about people like that believe in uh the Nordic faith, the ancient Greeks, the ancient Egyptian, Mesoamerican, Mesopotamian. He doesn't give a shit. If you are a Christian and you make more than $1 million a month, and if you're a white million or $1 billion worth, and you're a Christian, he loves you. Because why? You have money, he doesn't. Well, he has money, but he has to steal his or suck dick to have his. I can tell you now, he does not give a shit about any of you, any of us. He does not care about this country. And yet, all of you have made the choice on wanting him as president. I don't want him as president. Honestly, he's been convicted of 34 fucking felonies. And this asshole is still going to be able to be president? He's a convicted fucking he's a felon. He has felonies on his record. On his state record. And yet they were trying, and that's the thing. Whoever the judge that's allowing him to continue being in the presidency is a fucking retard. And yet he has no respect for people who are non-Christians, non-white. The guy's a fucking loser. I mean, this guy literally is stupid. And yet, when his plan of mass deportation happens, it does not matter who it is, if they are here legally or illegally. He is going to round them up and deport them. He does not care. That means if they live in an apartment complex, like I do, he's going to have his people go through every apartment, trash every fucking apartment, just so he can find someone who does not even live in that apartment. Me and my roommate, who are two pagans, we're both white. And yet he's going to have his people trash the fucking place, especially put me in handcuffs, because I'm going to end up fighting. Because the very moment they end up trashing this place, I mean, yeah, it's trashy now, it's trashed up now, but that's the thing. Without a vehicle, I can't do much. I have to do everything by walking. I have to walk from here to my storage unit just to put stuff in it. But, even after I get everything straightened up, his dumbass borders are, you know, deporters are going to end up trashing the place even more. And when they do, and I start to fight, it's going to be their fault for what happens next, because they have no reason to come in here. Especially if they come in here after office hours. And the very moment they do, and even if I don't fight back, they're still going to put me in handcuffs, because why? Because I'm a white non-Christian. And because of that, in the United States of a fuck up America, I have no rights. Okay? If I have no rights, then I should not have my federal benefits. I should not have my Medicare. I should not even be able to have any chance of living here. Especially since Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton said several months back that people who do not have a gun rights in the state of Tennessee are considered a non-citizen. That's including those who are born and raised in Tennessee. Here's the thing. Put a fucking goddamn 1851 Army revolver in my fucking hand, a 44 caliber black powder revolver in my hand. I'll show you that I'm a good fucking citizen. Take me to a fucking gun range with black powder armory, with any kind of black powder gun. I bet I can outshoot any of you fucking pussies in a real fucking quick moment. Because the reason why, I rather trust a fucking black powder gun over a fucking modern day gun any damn day. And truth be told, there was one time, just to make things clear on this, just to really make things clear on this, YouTube, on the other hand, are a bunch of MAGA pussies. Because I ended up making a video, gosh, in October, no, not October, September of 23. Or is it 22? I can't really remember. Either way, it was, September of 22 or 23 when, oh no, it was 22. Um, because of the fact that I had stated after, and I will clarify this. I don't care if the FBI hears this again, but I will actually clarify this. I was dealing with a certain legal situation of an order protection. Yes, from my roommate. But that's the thing. All the stress that's been going on lately for the past 8 years. I'm not going to say 4 years because here's the thing. Both sides of the political board are to blame for this. Lack of balls. Lack of balls between their legs. While I was on the street, I was in a little encampment area, abandoned area, and I had my tent and everything, my first tent that I had during that time. And I had everything I needed in it. I mean, I had stuff in my storage unit, but I, I had my blankets and stuff like that. I was gone for about a few days or so, and I had left my tent, up and everything to where I know when I get back, I would have some, I would already have it set up. No, my tent was gone. My everything was gone. And even if I had anything left over, oh yeah, I did have my tent left over, but it was destroyed. It was, that's why I say it was gone. I could not even be in it. And that is what caused um the order of protection violation. Because a bunch of homeless drug addicts who was sleeping behind in an encampment behind the Dollar General and Enterprise on Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Tennessee, behind the old abandoned property of the old Madison Motel, had broke into my tent, stole my clothes, stole all my blankets, my gear, everything, including two 6 millimeter airsoft guns that I had with um metal 6 millimeter slingshot rounds in them. I am might be able to show. Actually, I actually have an airsoft gun that, well, actually, right here, my airsoft gun. This is a new one, by the way, and I will actually be openly admitting to me having it. This is not the exact one I had. My other one was smaller than this. This is a Desert Eagle Magnum Research Incorporated, MPLS, Minnesota, USA, 50 AE, 6 millimeter airsoft gun. Um, these rounds here, well, let me get a better view. I mean, nothing in the chamber. All right, so these right here, these ball bearings, these are slingshot rounds, 6 millimeter slingshot rounds with a 12-gram CO2 cartridge in it. Now, the original gun I had, was a Colt Browning 1911, 6 millimeter, 12-gram CO2 cartridge, airsoft gun, um, which I had two of those, and I had one Craftsman Phantom 4.5 millimeter round, 12-gram CO2 cartridge air gun. I literally would have carried them with me in a backpack wherever I went. Now, according to law, people with felonies are allowed to have that for for self-defense, for protection. I carried them wherever I went. I carried them wherever I went. Now, the only thing I did not carry with me was a machete that I had bought from um oh gosh, what is it? That the store called Dirt Cheap, which is on Gallatin Pike South. I had a machete called the Carnivore. It was a neat looking machete. I mean, it's if anyone has ever seen Jason X, it's like the machete on there went after all those little nanobots got onto him and made him what he looked like. His machete will look badass, and the machete I had was just like that. I eventually do plan on rebuying that same machete. Give me wish me a luck on that one. But until then, I was away from my tent for a few days, and that's when all that happened. That I was my tent, my home at the time was broken into. Now, I made a comment on a video stating that I was going to make a flamethrower to, scare the homeless criminals and everything. And yes, I would have scared them, but I would not even be able to, do any damage to them. And also, I planned on making a flamethrower because one of my favorite movies, years before this great actor had passed away, Angus Scrimm. If anybody knows, if you hear Angus Scrimm and a flamethrower, and I will actually say the famous line that he always says, "Boy." I can't do it right now because my throat is messed up. No thanks to the weather. I would just say the movie anyway. Phantasm. That was one hell of a fucking good movie. That was actually from the second movie where the character Mike made a flamethrower. I wanted to make the same one and just test it out to show people what it would have looked like in an actual um, world setting. And then on top of that, I got a visit from the FBI because of me complaining about homeless people and black criminals and gang trash. Here's the thing. The the authorities now are more concerned and worried about illegal immigrants, people that are Hispanic from Central and South America, more than they are about a guy who literally shot a 19-year-old in the face at what used to be Hampton Terrace Apartments, now is Gibson Creek Apartments. They are more concerned about rounding up people from Central and South America who are here legally and illegally, then looking for that asshole. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say the truth. That fucking cunt. And then on top of that, recently here in Madison, just down the road from me, there was a guy who happens to be a black guy who's homeless and shoots another person in a condemned abandoned property on Harrington. And the problem is that they have a photo of him on the news coverage with an orange bicycle. They are more concerned about rounding up legal and illegal immigrants than looking for these two assholes, these two cunts. They are more concerned about deporting people who are not white than looking for people who are armed and dangerous to the teeth, to a detail of what they could do. I mean, god dang, it takes them years. It takes them a while just to look for a bunch of criminals who are wanted for murder or whatnot. And, and then on top of that, let's really get into, knowing about things. They are more concerned about deporting people than the safety of the citizens in this city of Nashville, because I will tell you now, there is a juvenile court judge who is useless as fucking dumb shit. Her name is Judge Gillespie of the juvenile court system. She talks about how parents should not have to be held responsible for juvenile delinquents who are repeat offenders, and how they should not be punished for their crimes. We have a really big problem here in Nashville with Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples, um, MS-13, Brown Pride, Latin Kings, Cartel, Blood Tribe, Oath Keepers, Patriot Front, Proud Boys, Sons of the Confederacy, Neo-Nazis, literal Nazis, Hells Angels, Outlaws. And yet, that's just to name a few. That's just a list to name a few of the problems that we have here in not just Nashville, not just Tennessee, but all of the United States. And yet, not one law enforcement can manage to put them behind bars where they belong. Now, you also have these people who are claiming to be independent journalists, um, free, First Amendment auditors. Here's the problem with that. Uh, the they are trying their damnedest to get as many of law enforcement in trouble as possible. They are purposely going around videotaping places, including, yes, there are places that's open to the public, but you cannot take a video camera to these places. Not even a body cam. And I do have a body cam, which I will soon replace, because this one here, uh, I do not know. I've tried to charge it up. I've actually had to open the back of this thing. Yikes. With how long it had been left alone, um, it should be highly impossible for this to happen, but apparently it's not. And uh, internal batteries, and I'll show you what an actual external battery is. This is an external battery. Yeah, it's a cheap brand, but still. The terminal areas here and here on an internal battery can corrode just as much as an external battery. I opened the back of this damn thing. Oh my gosh. I'm lucky I have not burnt my fingertips off yet. And on top of that, one of the buttons on here had also been um, messed with after accidentally knocking it off something. Oh yeah, the power button. Yeah, I cannot, like, literally it's bent to the point where I can't even use it. So I'm gonna have to replace this. It's alright though. It's a Bob Love body cam, and you can actually hold it here or anywhere. And they literally go around with people. These so-called First Amendment auditors go around with these, and they go around with cell phones, purposely going into areas that they're not supposed to with these cameras, and purposely videotaping the cruisers and everything, even though that they are not supposed to. Now, according to city ordinance and things like that, you're not supposed to. When you are told to literally leave a location due to not supposed to be doing something which is prohibited, you are supposed to leave. Now, with Tennessee not being a non-stop and ID state, let's say if I were to go, let's say, to the precinct here in Madison, let's say I was going into a hospital, I cannot record outside of the hospital. I cannot record outside of the police station. I cannot record in the hospital itself as well. Now, that is due to the privacy of others at those two locations. These so-called First Amendment auditors purposely do that. Um, and plus, on top of that, they also go into post offices and do that. Now, there are certain areas that you can go to in a post office and be able to do that without the disturbing this being a disturbance to others. Now, the problem with that is that that is a very big thing where you can actually do that, but you also have to respect the location of the post office. If they tell you not to, well, if you're in the designated area where you can, and they tell you not to, you have to obey that rule. And you have to. Now, uh, now these First Amendment auditors, these constitutional auditors, also like to argue the point of the Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment right. Now, yes, I understand that you don't have to identify yourself unless if you've committed a crime or about to commit a crime. But if you are breaking the rules of a city building or a government building per se, a police station, a hospital, a post office. Well, a police station, depending on where you're at, is a city property. If you're asked to not to, record in there, you need to obey the rules. It is not a law. It is not a felony or a misdemeanor crime. It is a literally. I mean, there's no telling what can be done. They don't know what you're going to do with that information. And a hospital. I will actually explain this a little bit. March 7th of this year, I was trying to protect one of my neighbors, and I had to go to the hospital because of a homeless bum who bit my ear to where I needed stitches. And I wanted to actually record what was going on. I literally was trying to exercise my freedom of speech by recording what goes on, and I was told real quick if I were to do that, I was going to end up being put in handcuffs and possibly do jail time. So that means that I had no choice but to obey what they said. these so-called constitutional auditors don't get it. Like, oh, let's say Long Island audit. If he has a problem, if this gets to him and he has a problem with what I have to say, dude, if you don't like having to obey the law, it's people like you that are the problem. It's the reason, you're the reason why people are starting to get in trouble a lot with law enforcement. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Because I almost got in trouble with the law because of you. And I'll actually fucking admit that. I'll admit it to your fucking face. That I almost got in trouble with the law because of your stupid ass. There are certain times that you do and do not need to have your identification. There are certain times and certain places where you can and cannot have a camera on. I'm not going to get my ass in trouble because of stupid assholes like you. I'm sorry, stupid cunts like you. Obey the fucking laws. If someone ends up asking you to leave and because they don't want you to have any kind of literally buildings literally tell you the rules. If you don't have if they don't have them up on the in the public area, look it up. Okay? Don't get in trouble because someone from stating, "Oh, you can do this, you can do that." No. You actually have to do your homework and your research before you get yourself in trouble. And here's the thing. I do plan on making sure that I have a specific video made with me wearing my new, well, when I do replace this, with me wearing a new body cam, I am going to make sure that I will wear the new body cam and everything. And even if the cops are called, I will let the cops know, with it being on recording, of why I'm doing it. And to ask, you know, what is a city ordinance, what everything. And I'm going to post it on there for that fucking New England auditor and everyone else to know what is and is not appropriate. So I don't have a flashy little icon or anything like that. I don't care about that. Here's the thing. All I gotta say is, welcome to the real world. The hunt is forever on.